Welcome to the NeuroHeir Podcast, the show for cycle breakers, parents, young adults, and helping professionals ready to understand their nervous system through a generational lens, heal what isn't theirs to carry, and consciously choose what comes next. Hi, I'm your host, Leanna Hunt, an associate clinical mental health counselor and certified performance coach. Each week, you'll get stories, science, and somatic practices, plus my signature 4N framework: notice, name, nurture, and navigate, to help you honor resilience, break silence, and build deeper connection with yourself and those you love, all while shaping a legacy of safety, freedom, and possibility. Welcome back, friends, to the NeuroHeir Podcast. Last week in episode 9, we talked about how parents can regulate their own nervous system so their children feel safe in their presence at any age. Today, I'm turning towards the next generation, the young adults trying to find who they are and where they belong. When I see a young adult sit across from me in the therapy room, I often see a version of myself at that age, working so hard to assess the relationships around me, asking which ones felt safe and which ones did not. It's only recently that I've understood that season through the lens of the nervous system, how my body was constantly scanning for belonging even when my mind couldn't name it. Psychologist Erikson called this developmental stage intimacy versus isolation for those of you that are young adults. It comes right after the identity versus role confusion that asks the question all those teenage years of, who am I? This next stage for young adults adds the next layer: who am I in relationship to others? What I'm seeing increasingly today is a generation asking that question through disconnection. I'm in a Facebook group for parents with over 1 million members, and almost every time I open Facebook, I see a type of post from that page of a parent posting about their adult child trying to figure out what to do because their adult child has gone no contact, which means they are not talking to them or currently having a relationship. And most of the parents of these posts for no contact adult children mentioned that their children were in therapy at the time when this happened. To be clear, some relationships truly are unsafe and distance is necessary, but many others represent something different: a nervous system that's overwhelmed and confusing avoidance for healing. Avoidance can masquerade as peace. So I have been finding myself wondering, could therapy culture be emphasizing boundaries without nervous system context? And how many therapists, myself included, are still learning how to stay regulated as we sit with others? Today, we'll explore inherited pressure, belonging as a body state, and how the 4 Ns can move us from isolation towards repair. In my Brainspotting training, one of the core skills is attunement, which is remaining steady enough that a client's body feels safe to process without words while I don't make their experience my own. That steadiness is a nervous system skill I cultivate continually so that I can hold that kind of presence for someone else. Stephen Porges' polyvagal theory calls it neuroception of safety. Our bodies are always asking, am I safe enough to stay present? Also, I truly believe that boundaries matter, but boundaries without regulation often become walls. No contact may be a needed pause for some, yet for many, it's a collapse response, a flight from discomfort that could have become an opportunity for growth if the body actually had skills to stay present. I want to tell you a hypothetical story. Imagine a young woman, and let's call her Sarah. She's 25, super successful on paper, and completely exhausted and depleted inside. Every relationship for Sarah feels like a chore and an evaluation of her worth. At home growing up, achievement was love's language and what was praised. So when conflict arises, Sarah's nervous system interprets it as a threat. She pulls away for weeks, the body's flight response in action. Through our work together, and you can imagine this in your own life, she learns to slow down her body's story. We practice the 4 Ns. First is notice. Sarah learns to notice the holding of her breath when her mom sends a text. Second is name. Sarah learns to name it as an old pattern of perform to be safe. Third, nurture. Sarah learns to nurture the younger part that believed distance was the only way to feel like she could breathe. And 4 is navigate. Sarah learns to navigate in micro steps, sending a short, regulated reply, instead of remaining silent or shutting down completely. When Sarah practices this, contact stops feeling like danger and starts feeling like agency, a choice she can make towards a relationship that actually feels supportive. That moment of choice is where healing really begins. And it's also where we start to see how personal patterns are rarely just personal, that they're often inherited. The body doesn't only carry our own stories, it carries the unfinished stories of those who came before us, which brings us to the deeper question underneath it all. Where did I learn that closeness wasn't safe? In Erikson's stage of intimacy versus isolation, we learn whether connection can coexist with safety. If our nervous system was trained that closeness equals criticism, control, our rejection, our body will protect us from it. Add generational pressure, families where worth was measured in output, and the body keeps scanning. Am I enough? Research confirms these inheritances. Dr. Rachel Yehuda and her team in 2016 found changes in a stress-related gene, FKBP5, in Holocaust survivors and their children. Trauma left a biological signature correlated with how the next generation handles stress. This study doesn't say we're stuck. It does show that healing can also travel forward. If your system equates belonging with performance, you won't rest until you feel safe. Belonging is not earned through achievement. And for many of us, that is probably still hard to hear. Belonging is not earned through achievement. It's experienced when safety actually lands in the body. This might feel foreign, but it's true. Your nervous system doesn't need your success. It needs safety. It took me a really long time to learn this, to learn that safety grows when we heal enough to sit with who we are and know that that's enough instead of collapsing into what we do. I want to go with you into a gentle guided practice. Let's do this together. So take a minute and find a comfortable position, pause the podcast if you need to, and come back when you're ready. Okay, so when you're ready, first, just notice, bring to mind one self-belief you struggle with, such as I'm not enough, I always mess up, or I can't slow down. I want to invite you just to close your eyes if it feels safe to do so. Just do a gentle body scan from the top of your head all the way down to your toes, and just ask yourself, where does this belief live? And trust the very first thing that you think or feel or see. Maybe it's in your throat or your chest or your stomach. And just gently place a hand there and whisper to yourself, thank you, body, for trying to keep me safe. Second is name and ask, when did I first feel this? Again, just invite yourself to trust yourself. Let whatever wants to surface do so without filtering. Maybe you see or feel a younger version of yourself, your 8-year-old self or your 13-year-old self or your 17-year-old self, the one who learned to earn love. In IFS language, a part is showing up. It's just a part of you. It's not all of you. Give it a name or an image if you can and just say hi. Before we move on, just pause here with me. See if you can sense how that part feels being noticed. Maybe there's curiosity, relief, or even resistance. All of it belongs and all of it's okay. Maybe nothing feels like it's showing up for you right now, and that's also okay, and invite you to return to this several times. Remember, you don't need to fix this part. You just need to be with it. That's what safety feels like to the nervous system. It's presence without pressure. Next is nurture. Tell that younger self or whatever you feel in your body, just say, I see you. You've carried this for so long for me, and you don't have to do it alone anymore. Just take a minute and breathe into that part of your body. And remember, if it doesn't feel like you can trust this process yet, just promise to keep showing up. This is self-attunement co-regulation with yourself. And 4 is navigate. From this softer place, just ask yourself, what's one small act that moves you towards connection without abandoning yourself? Maybe it's sending a short text instead of staying silent. Maybe it's just taking more gentle breaths before you speak. Maybe it's simply offering an honest acknowledgement to yourself or someone else. Remember, the small steps are sustainable. Notice any shift in your body right now, even if it's super small. That's progress. When we can start to notice these micro shifts, we begin practicing repair in real time. Because repair isn't just a conversation, it is a nervous system experience. Repair is the moment your body realizes, I can stay here, I can stay present, even in this experience. So a note for young adults, your drive to achieve once helped you meet real needs. Remember, that drive has kept you safe, it's kept you seen, and it's kept you capable. Now you get to ask, is this still how I want to show up for myself and in my relationships? You can think that old strategy and retire it with kindness. Try saying, I want a relationship with you. I also need conversations where we both feel safe. Hey, if things get heated, can we pause and come back tomorrow? And for parents, when your adult child pulls back, your body may register it as rejection or abandonment. Often it's their system simply seeking safety. Remember always to regulate yourself first and then reach out from that steadier place. Try saying to your children, your adult children, I love you and I'm learning how to be safe for you. If you need space, please take it and know I'll be here when you're ready. Together, you can create micro rituals of repair, shared moments to breathe. You can create a code word for a pause and a plan to reconnect later. Remember, safety is built in seconds, not in lectures. When we practice repair in these small embodied ways, we truly begin to reshape inheritance itself. Every pause, every breath, and every try again moment becomes a new message to your nervous system. It sends messages like, connection is safe enough to return. And that right there is what becoming a NeuroHeir is all about. So let's take another breath together. Just take a slow breath in. And on that inhale, just say to yourself, I belong here. And on that exhale, just say, I don't have to earn it. Beautiful. Up to this point, we've talked about patterns and pressure. This is the moment we shift into what I call becoming a NeuroHeir. Choosing to meet what we inherited with awareness and compassion instead of trying to reenact it. Becoming a NeuroHeir isn't ever about perfection, but it is about creating regulation as an invitation. It asks, what would healing look like if it created more connection and not more avoidance? What if we built boundaries that breathe, rooted in self-love and open to repair? What if it's saying, I'm not available for this kind of behavior, but here are all the ways I am available. I'm available for curiosity. I'm available for repair. I'm available for trying again. Imagine if that language became our new inheritance. What if your parents invited you to a sound bath or a breathwork session and said, hey, I'd really love to learn this with you. Are you open to that? What if your mom asked you to a mother-daughter retreat to reconnect and work on some old wounds? What if your dad said, I want to tell you what I've learned from my childhood, and I'm so sorry I couldn't talk about it until now? What if you texted your siblings and said, I'm ready to deepen what connection looks like between us? What if the boundaries we create didn't slam doors shut, but left them gently ajar for repair to walk through? That's the heart of becoming a NeuroHeir. Healing ourselves so future generations inherit safety instead of silence or shutdown. Learning to love without losing ourselves and allowing compassion to be stronger than defense. This episode releases in the second week of December, a time that can stretch every nervous system. Holidays can be so beautiful and also really triggering. They bring back smells and sounds and stories of belonging, but oftentimes for a lot of us, they bring back pain. Here are some ways to practice regulation and repair over the next few weeks. You can also find these in your show notes. First, I suggest that you have a pre-event ritual before any gathering. Just sit wherever you are in your house, in your car. Just practice breathing in through the nose and lengthen your exhale with every exhale. And just say to yourself, I can stay for 2 hours and leave by 9. And remind yourself, this is my regulation. This isn't me about rejecting anyone. Number 2, open with safety, not strategy. Start with a shared memory. So with a family member, the example would be like, hey, I've been thinking about your stuffing recipe. Third, repair in the moment, such as using language like, I care about this and I'm getting activated. Can we pause and circle back after a walk? Another one, choose a connection micro act. Send a thinking of you text, maybe make tea, sit quietly beside someone watching the fire. Small signals accumulate. And 5, a post-event debrief. Be able to sit and ask yourself, what went a little better tonight? Where did I stay connected to myself? And what adjustments will I try next time? Here are a few examples of language that keeps the door open for repair, and these are also in your show notes. I'm not available for yelling or criticism, but I am available for honest conversation when we both feel settled. I'm not available for sarcasm, but I am available for humor that brings us both closer together. I'm not available for rehashing the past right now, but I am available to share what I'm learning and to listen to you. Hey, I'm not available to try to fix this tonight, but I am available for a 20-minute talk tomorrow after I get some rest. I'm not available for avoidance, but I am available for slow repair with breaks when either of us need one. Pick one line and try it out, and remember that this is a bridge. As you close today, ask yourself, what boundary could I actually rewrite as a bridge? What phrase could I transform from protection into possibility? Because belonging isn't the absence of boundaries, guys. It's the presence of safety inside them. I'm going to say that one more time. Because belonging isn't the absence of boundaries, it's the presence of safety inside them. And if you'd like some help with that, make sure to go and check the show notes to get all of those, as we already mentioned. And you can use these for holidays and for other family gatherings. If this conversation resonated, stay tuned for details on my upcoming NeuroHeir group membership launching in February, where we'll practice turning these insights into real repair. I'm so excited about what we're creating right now. And remember, you may not have chosen what you inherited, but you can choose how you heal it and how you belong now. I hope you guys know that I'm cheering you on and sending you my absolute best this week and weekend. May your holiday days be filled with small moments of repair and recognition that connection is possible. If any of my episodes have resonated with you so far, please could you take a moment and leave a review? This helps other NeuroHeirs, they don't even know it yet, but helps others that are learning to regulate themselves, wanting to understand the patterns of generational impact. It helps them find the show. And also for this holiday season, please send it to a parent you know that might be struggling with their own young adult, or a young adult that is trying to have and maintain connection with their parents. So until next time, bye guys.